let's talk about tipping. I found this article on Zero Hedge. You expect me to tip for that? Americans are tired of tipflation. Okay? In an August survey of 11,945 adults, 72% of respondents said they opposed automatic service charges that appear on their bills. One half of the respondents strongly opposed this practice. You ever seen when you get like an automatic tip applied to your bill?
Yes, I have seen that. That doesn't bother me.
No?
No, what bothers me is when I'm at the fast food chicken salad place.
Yeah.
And nothing is happening. They just flip it around and it's like she can see it, I can see it, and I just say, no tip. I don't feel like anybody did anything. Like this is just mass produced in the back. Like who's getting this anyways? Like I think that's what I'm confused by. Who is getting this? Because clearly the company is wanting you to do this. This isn't just a you thing. This is the company is. So is this going to you? Who is this going to?
Right, I know that's part of it too.
I'm just paying more.
Right. I don't like a tip jar.
Yes.
You know? Like that's fine. That makes sense. If there was good service and I've got some cash in my pocket, I'll put it in. And or you pay with cash.
Yeah.
And whatever the change was, you put it in.
But when it's like the company itself is clearly, and every company all of a sudden, I'm thinking, okay, they're trying to play on my humanity so they can get more money. I don't think it's for. I don't know how much you're keeping. I don't think it's like when I tip at the restaurant, like you're getting it. I don't think that's how this works.
I mean, sometimes the places will say who the tip goes to. But I know a lot of places do this obnoxious thing. I mean, look, I've never worked in the service industry, like serving food or doing things like that. So maybe this is beneficial, but in my head, it doesn't make any sense. But they'll like pool all the tips, and then everybody will get an equal amount. And I'm like, no, I want to, so that's to protect if you didn't have a lot of customers that day, and the ones that you did get were like bad tippers. Then everybody that okay, well, so and so got a really big tip. Well, great. So it's just a way to protect and make sure that you get tips every time. So that would be the argument for it. But I mean, whatever. Tipping at a restaurant on your meal because somebody served you the food, that we've always had that makes sense.
Yeah,
I get that. But this the fast food flipped the iPad towards you so you can, I mean, literally all the in all the years of going to these places and you use a card, you never had to sign for anything, like hardly ever.
No.
But they flip it so that you have to sign something, but they're adding the tip on there too.
Exactly. That's
what it really is about.
You know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of walking into the grocery store in 2020 and there's a sign on the door that I have to confront. Wear a mask. I've got to confront something for some reason. Like I'm just this innocent dude walking into this place. It's like I'm just gonna get this service, and now it's like, hey, deal with this now. What do you think about that? While everyone is standing there looking at you, it just seems like if you wanted to tip, it's a kind of if you're gonna tip at like a restaurant, there's nobody standing there over you watching your decision. They leave. You write, okay, let me do the math on my phone.
Right.
Here's the tip. Okay. You walk away.
Yeah.
But with this, they flip it and they just are staring at you.
Yeah.
Now, some of them, they'll flip it and they'll look away, which I appreciate because they know that the game is kind of stupid.
Right.
But the ones that they flip it and they just stand there, it's like,
I know it's like awkward for everybody. I imagine it's awkward for them too. I went somewhere yesterday. I had to go pick up a friend's dog because they were out of town and had a flat tire. They needed to be picked up by the end of the day. And so I had to pay when I got there and get paid back. But it was something like, all right, here's the total, and would you like to leave a tip for? So they were just like asking me like, what?
Verbally?
Yeah,
verbal abuse.
Verbal abuse. It was verbal abuse. They were
weird.
But then I think when they realized, oh, this is a friend. So then when I was like, oh, do I have to pay? Oh yeah, can they pay you back? Okay, yeah, sure. And then when they told me the total again, after all that, they didn't ask if I wanted to leave a tip. And I didn't even know what I was going to be leaving a tip. I don't know what an appropriate dog sitting tip is. I don't know.
They're like, it's for this dog. And there's like an injured dog that walks out. We're trying to help him.
It's a donation.
It's a donation to him, to his kind.
Little brother. For anybody who watched Home Store Runner. Yeah, I don't know. And here's part of it too. It's like I didn't work in the food industry, but I did have a retail job when I was a teenager.
How much were you getting paid now?
I made $6 an hour.
Right.
And these guys are making at least double that now, and I didn't get tips.
No.
So it's just weird. But I think what it is when it flips and they ask for tips.
Flips asks for tips.
Flips asks for tips. Flips asks for tips. It's like it's creating this tension where it's like, what have you done for me?
Yeah, do you deserve this?
Yeah, whereas like if
taking my order,
if there's just a bucket with that you can put cash in or whatever, it's like, oh, it's there if I want it. If someone was nice to me
the guy
or something.
At Five Guys, I ordered a small fry. He clearly gave me a large. He just dumped 2 buckets because he liked me for some reason.
Yeah.
Tip jar.
Yeah, I know that's what I'm saying. Like if you have, it's that thing of if you have a choice in the matter, if you feel like you have some agency, then you're more likely to. But they must have found on the whole that most people just click, I don't know, 10%.
Definitely.
But
100%. That's why they do it. They realize that it hacks the nicety of Americans.
Well, this is saying this was like a post-COVID thing because they didn't want to have to raise prices, but it was like trying to help out the employees or whatever, and so now they're still hesitant. I mean, they've still increased the prices anyway.
Exactly.
But so now it's a way of saying like, hey, help us pay the employees, so we don't have to raise our prices on the food so much.
That's what this article is saying?
Yeah.
I was listening to somebody and they were talking about how there is a restaurant bubble. This was just their opinion.
Uh-huh.
There's a restaurant bubble. Think about how if you have children, you have several children. Imagine when they get older, Josh, and they're and they're going to eat food. Even if you go to a chicken salad chick place, you're going to walk out of that spending a ton of money.
Oh yeah.
If it's for a middle class family.
Yeah. Even now,
it's not sustainable.
Yeah, like we have to be strategic about what we do when we go out to eat because if not, you end up spending $40 just for like fast food stuff.
Exactly.
I mean, obviously not if you go to like McDonald's or something like that. But we don't eat out.
Maybe
we don't. Well, I've looked at the McDonald's prices because I saw someone complaining about that, and those are expensive too now. So I just don't want to sound elitist when I say that because people are like, "What are you talking about?" I go out to eat with 3 people or 4 people for $20 still, but I don't even know if people can do that anymore.
I don't think that people talk about like that anymore.
We just don't eat out very often. And,
so it's always kind of shocking.
And now we don't hardly eat out at all. I mean, it's just like it's not worth it.
Well, now imagine even going to a place like what's a place that a lot of Texas Roadhouse. Imagine going to a Texas Roadhouse where it's actually like it's affordable steak, but it's extremely good, very high quality stuff. Imagine if you and your family want to go out to that once a month,
right?
You would be spending an exorbitant amount of money, at a place like so. Yeah. This person was saying that there is a restaurant bubble where a lot, like when the economy starts to inflation, the economy starts to get worse, that a ton of restaurants are going to actually shut down.
Yeah, I mean that makes sense, especially with the prices that they're charging for food. I mean, like,
but they even can't help it almost because the price of food has gone up.
I know. It's not even their fault.
Our wages haven't gone up.
Right. And they're they try to keep wages up just to attract people to come work for them, but
give them you go to college if you work here, if you're like a Chick-fil-A or whatever. I don't know if that's what they're still doing. They were doing that for a while.
I don't know. So what do you when they flip the iPad? You just
if I understand that the people are actually going to be doing something extra for me, I will probably do some.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do 20% like if somebody's waiting on me filling up my water and stuff constantly.
Yeah.
But maybe I would do some at that, but if it's like 99% of the time it's going to be no tip unless I'm like, okay, there's a person who is actually waiting. Yeah. Clearly waiting on me.
I remember the first time I got one of those at a coffee shop, I was like, "Oh, have I been supposed to tip this whole time?"
Right,
and now I'm paying it with a card. Okay. So I did, and I was like, that felt weird.
You feel violated in some way.
I was
feel manipulated.
Yeah, that felt strange. I don't know. But I also get that times are tough out there, and so, people just trying to pay their bills, people actually going out and getting jobs. Like
Yeah,
a lot of people
exactly.
don't even want to do that. So it's like you go out and get a job and it's like, hey, if all I have to do is just feel weird for a second and I get 10% on whatever you just paid for.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe that would.
But with those Square apps, because everybody's using that Square app now, it's not like you're getting cash in your hand. So that money must all get pooled. So it's just, okay, at the end of the day, there was $100 in tips. So we split it up among everybody that worked there. And maybe, I don't know. That wouldn't work for me. I don't think, I mean,
No, I
whatever.
wouldn't like that.
I'm too much of like an individual achiever to be
Yeah,
like,
that would bother me. Too.
I don't want to be responsible for these two clowns over here. They don't do anything. They just smoke and
Go to the bathroom 100 times.
yeah. Like, look, just give me, like, take me out of the pool. I don't want to be in the pool. I want to just, my tips are my tips.
Yeah, exactly.
And so whenever it's everybody else's tips, they get a higher cut.
Yeah,
This is
yeah, that's how you'd get around that.
This is why I could never get a real job.
Exactly.
Because
they
this is
wouldn't listen to
I'm like,
that.
oh, Josh is.
Josh
He
is doing
wants. I
something.
don't know what he's saying. He wants to like flip the tips so he gets. But we get a higher percentage, or I don't know what he's talking about. He's been rambling for half an hour. I don't know, but that's what I do. Yeah, I used to click like 10%, but now I'm like,
But then you feel cheap if you click 10% because you know everybody wants 20.
right. I don't.
So it's like, well, I'm a bad guy either way.
at some point, I've got enough kids. I'm just like, look,
No
for all my life, I didn't have to do this, and now I have kids, and I feel like I have to, and I have less. So no tip. Sorry, I feel bad, but
Don't spit in my food.